through the generations.
Is it true that you won a gold medal?
Several.
Okay.
It was
Yes.
Kung
Not-
Fu champion.
Kung Fu, yes.
You kidding me?
Wow.
Yep.
Because it seemed so random when I was reading it, because the timeline, it seemed like in the middle of your DJ career. It wasn't like, oh yeah, when I was like 18. It was like in 2003, right? Isn't
Well,
that? How do you have time for that?
What happened in 2003? You were just on it. Yeah.
No, let me tell you about that because it's a fascinating story as well. This was in 2011 where, the EDM peak was starting to set in and everything. And I was doing Kung Fu for 10 years already. And I turned to my Kung Fu teacher and I'm like, teacher, Sifu, I'm about to be burned out. Like I have all of these tours coming up and I don't really know how to deal with all of this. And he said, you need to ramp up your Kung Fu. And I'm like, but how? I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost not home. And, and he said, no, you need to do these exercises. So there's a couple of breathing exercises that he implemented. And furthermore, I started taking him with me on tour. I had the luxury back then. So we would we'd come off a show. We had 3 hours of sleep. And then we would put in like a good 2 hours of Kung Fu before going to the next destination. And being one-on-one with my teacher really ramped up my Kung Fu to at a certain point, he was like, dude, you can compete in the world championships in China, in Hong Kong.
sick,
And I'm like,
dude.
I kind of have always wanted to do that.
Like, I'm going to compete. I'm going to do the after party, a DJ. And
I did.
No way. Wow.
So there's I've put out vlogs about that where you can actually see me compete and then juggling the whole DJ thing.
I feel like if I was competing against you and I dedicated my life, I would be so salty. Like, this guy's coming in, like, half-assing it, part-time Kung Fu master.
Well,
He's kicking my ass.
Yeah. But back then, if you're one-on-one with your teacher all the time,
Right.
that's
You're
a whole
learning
different
faster.
story. Yeah. And this was hardcore, dude, because we were going through a sequence where we needed to train with bow staffs and we didn't have any bow staffs. So my teacher just grabbed like iron poles from what is it, the construction site or whatever. And we started training with that, and he hit me in the face a couple of times.
Damn.
And it's like you see me on the vlog with a busted lip and a black eye almost.
I was thinking, like, the stage is collapsing. He, like, just pulled a pole, like, from the scaffolding,
Yeah, well, we did crazy stuff, and so it was actually very helpful to stay mentally focused as well. I remember being in Ibiza playing for the Tomorrowland crew, being a guest for Dimitri Vegas and like Mike, and the whole Tomorrowland crew were there, and they were like trying to feed me shots, and I'm like, next weekend I'm competing in the World Championships. I can't do that right now. And everyone was like, oh, go party. And I was like, listen, I'm going to go to sleep now. I'm going to wake up in 2 hours and I'm going to train. And it's that type of dedication that I put in there those years.
But you competed against Americans. You competed against, like, British people, like, people from all over the world. Like,
Well,
it was-
so how that works in Kung Fu is as you do the forms, which is a sequence of moves. And if it looks great, then you get like your medal. This was hardcore, man. This was in Hong Kong.
So you weren't fighting people.
No.
Oh, okay, got it.
Because that's the thing as well. My teacher always said, like, because we have Chinese kickboxing in our system as well, which I did, and I sparred and that sort of thing. But he's like, you cannot get hurt, like, because if you're gonna be on stage, because I needed to be functional
makes
on
sense.
stage,
Right.
So it's like mastering the moves.
mastering the
Okay.
moves. Yep.
There's something that I think about a lot because I'm kind of more of a jack of all trades. But do you feel like when you're doing too many things at once, it takes away from it? Because it just kind of blows my mind that you're like touring around the world, but doing the Olympics.
Yeah. So it
Like, did
yeah.
something suffer like when you're doing that? Or?
No, in this case, it fueled me for both because I remember feeling tired from DJing the night before, and then after a training, I was all like amped up again. So I made that a priority always. Like sometimes when I landed at a new destination to train, and then feeling all the blood running and having all the power to do all the emails that were needed to do or finish off this track or whatever. And so it complemented each other.
It is kind of a different type of training. Like when you watch the Rocky movies and they have the montage and he's like, screw it, I'm going to go in the snow and like chop wood and pull this sled. Like there's something about the touring of the DJ where I feel like I have so much more endurance than the regular person who's working a 9 to 5 and they're like complaining about their job. And I'm like, bro, You don't even have to sleep on planes. Like, shut up, dude. Like,
Well, it's interesting because they can't imagine that, right? Because all they see is the glitter and glamour of things, and you get to travel, right? But then I always try and say, like, okay, then put yourself on a schedule for a month where you only sleep 4 hours every day, and then you got to perform like maximum for the whole month to see how you feel at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Because that's basically a summer tour, but a summer tour is like 2 months.
Yeah.
wow.
If you like that clip and want to see another one, click here. If you want to see the full podcast, click here.